Hello, English learners, and welcome back to another exciting episode of our podcast. I'm Adam, your host, and I'm thrilled to have you here with us today. Whether you're a business professional navigating international markets, a team leader working with global teams, or simply someone looking to improve their English communication skills in a professional setting, this podcast is for you.
Hi everyone, I'm Sophia, and I'm excited to be joining Adam in today's discussion. As a language expert specializing in business communication, I've worked with countless professionals who want to enhance their ability to communicate effectively in English within their careers.
In today's fast-paced, interconnected world, English has become the universal language of business. Whether it's virtual meetings, cross-border collaborations, or writing business proposals, having a strong grasp of business English is essential.
That's right, Adam. From mastering email communication to presenting at international conferences, every aspect of business today relies on clear, confident communication in English, and that's exactly what we'll be focusing on throughout this podcast.
We'll be sharing practical strategies, tips, and real-life examples to help you improve your English skills regardless of your starting point. So if you're looking to boost your confidence and take your business communication to the next level, you've come to the right place.
And with guests, case studies, and expert advice along the way, you'll get actionable insights you can apply immediately.
So grab a pen and notebook or just sit back and listen. Let's dive into the world of business communication in English. Let's take a moment to talk about how English has evolved in the workplace over the past few decades. It's not just a tool for communication anymore. It's become a critical skill that shapes how businesses operate globally. Back when I started in business, most communication was confined to local languages, and you rarely had to think beyond your own country's borders. But things have changed dramatically.
Absolutely, Adam. Today, businesses are more interconnected than ever. With global markets expanding, companies are working across countries and cultures, and English has become the universal language that bridges those gaps. Whether it's communicating with clients in different regions or collaborating with international teams, English has become essential.
You're right. I've worked with clients from all over the world: India, Brazil, Japan, Europe, and in every case, English has been the common language for everything from negotiations to project management. And it's not just about translating words, it's about adapting the way we communicate, making sure that ideas are understood clearly across different cultural contexts.
Yes, that's where the challenge lies. Non-native speakers often struggle with more than just grammar and vocabulary. They need to convey meaning accurately while also navigating nuances like tone, formality, and context. It's a skill that takes practice and continuous learning.
Absolutely. Whether you're writing an email, giving a presentation, or participating in a video call, every interaction in English requires a level of precision and cultural sensitivity. I've seen misunderstandings happen in virtual meetings where someone misinterprets a word or a phrase because they're unfamiliar with how it's used in a professional setting.
And let's not forget how technology has influenced this evolution. With remote work becoming more prevalent, communication in English has shifted even further. Now, we rely heavily on video conferencing, instant messaging, and collaborative tools like Slack or Microsoft Teams, which all require a unique set of skills to master.
Exactly. These platforms have streamlined communication, but they've also introduced new challenges. For example, informal messaging on platforms like Slack may seem casual, but it still needs to maintain a level of professionalism. Misusing tone or language can lead to miscommunication or even misunderstandings about expectations.
And beyond just understanding the tools, professionals also have to adapt to evolving workplace environments. Whether it's adjusting to the more relaxed communication style of younger generations or ensuring that global teams feel included in discussions, it's all about how effectively we use English to create a sense of cohesion and collaboration.
That's why mastering English in the workplace is more than just a technical skill, it's a strategic advantage. Those who excel at it tend to build stronger professional relationships, foster better teamwork, and drive more successful outcomes. It opens doors to new opportunities, whether you're negotiating a deal, leading a team, or presenting to stakeholders.
Absolutely. The evolution of English in the workplace is ongoing. As industries grow more global, the need to refine how we communicate becomes even more critical. For professionals, staying adaptable and continuously improving their communication skills is what separates those who thrive from those who simply get by.
Let's shift gears and talk about the tools and platforms that have become essential for effective communication in English in the workplace. In today's fast-paced global business environment, having the right tools can make a huge difference in how efficiently and clearly you communicate.
Absolutely, Adam. Whether it's managing virtual meetings, collaborating on projects, or simply staying in touch with international teams, these platforms play a vital role. And while technology has made communication easier, it also presents its own set of challenges, especially when you're using English as a second language.
Let's start with the basics: email communication. For many professionals, especially in multinational companies, emails are the primary method for communicating across borders. But crafting an effective email requires a clear understanding of tone, structure, and cultural nuances.
Yes, and non-native speakers often struggle with this. When writing emails in English, it's not just about grammar and punctuation. It's about ensuring the message is professional, concise, and respectful. A small mistake in wording can lead to misunderstandings, especially in cross-cultural settings.
Right. And then there's video conferencing. Tools like Zoom, Microsoft Teams, and Google Meet have become staples in remote work. When communicating in these environments, people must be mindful of not just what they're saying, but how they're saying it. Pronunciation, pacing, and even nonverbal cues can affect understanding.
Absolutely. Virtual communication in English requires more than just the ability to speak fluently. You need to manage your speech, stay engaged, and maintain professionalism while being mindful of the cultural differences that come into play. Things like pauses, gestures, and facial expressions are harder to interpret in a virtual setting.
Then we have tools like Slack and instant messaging platforms, where things can get a bit more informal. It's easy to assume that casual messaging allows for more relaxed language, but even in these environments, there's still a need for clarity and professionalism. Miscommunication is common when people forget this.
Exactly. Especially when it comes to international teams, using slang or idiomatic expressions can sometimes create confusion. Non-native speakers may struggle to understand subtle meanings, so knowing how to communicate effectively within these platforms is crucial.
And for larger projects, tools like Google Docs or Trello have become essential for managing tasks and collaborating in English. These platforms require clear instructions and updates, especially when working with cross-functional teams. Even small misunderstandings can derail a project if communication isn't precise.
Yes, the key here is consistency and adaptability. Regardless of the platform, you need to ensure that your message is structured in a way that aligns with business expectations. In English communication, that means adjusting to the medium and ensuring your message is easily understood by a diverse audience.
And with AI tools becoming more prevalent, like chatbots for customer service or transcription tools for meetings, English proficiency is becoming even more automated. However, humans still play a critical role in ensuring that the communication is aligned with business goals and expectations.
Exactly. These tools are helpful, but they require oversight. Non-native speakers need to ensure their communication is reviewed for context, tone, and clarity before finalizing it. Whether it's through tools or direct conversation, the goal is to improve understanding while fostering collaboration.
Ultimately, choosing the right tools and mastering them in English is about making your communication effective, efficient, and aligned with business objectives. With the right combination of these platforms, professionals can ensure they stay connected and understood in an increasingly digital world. Let's shift our focus now to something equally important: soft skills, and emotional intelligence in business communication. These are the often overlooked elements that play a huge role in how effectively we communicate in English, especially in professional settings.
Absolutely, Adam. When we talk about business communication, it's easy to focus on grammar, vocabulary, and technical language. But the truth is, soft skills and emotional intelligence are just as critical, if not more so, when communicating in English in a business context.
Exactly. You can have perfect grammar and a wide range of vocabulary, but if your emotional intelligence is lacking, your message may fall flat or be misinterpreted. In business, managing emotions and understanding how they impact communication is key.
Let's start with empathy. In a diverse workplace where teams are spread across different cultures and backgrounds, being able to understand how your message is being received emotionally is crucial. When you communicate in English, especially with non-native speakers, you need to be mindful of how your words could be perceived.
Right. For instance, what may seem like a simple statement to a native English speaker could come off as blunt or harsh to someone from a different cultural background. Soft skills like empathy help bridge that gap, ensuring your message is delivered in a way that's respectful and inclusive.
Absolutely. Emotional intelligence also plays a big role in conflict resolution. In business, difficult conversations are inevitable, whether it's giving constructive feedback or handling disagreements. Your ability to manage emotions and respond thoughtfully in English can make a huge difference in maintaining healthy working relationships.
Yes, and that applies not just to face-to-face interactions, but also in virtual meetings and written communication. In English, the tone can often get lost in translation, especially in emails or chat messages. Using emotional intelligence helps clarify intent and ensures that your message is received how you intended.
One of the key areas where emotional intelligence shines is in building trust. When you're communicating in English, especially in leadership roles, people need to feel like you're approachable and that you understand their concerns. This can't be achieved solely through technical proficiency. It requires understanding emotional dynamics.
That's true. Think about high-pressure environments like negotiations or high-stakes presentations. In these moments, keeping your emotions in check and maintaining control over how you communicate in English is essential. Missteps can lead to misunderstandings or lost opportunities.
Non-verbal cues also play a part. In virtual communication, for example, how you manage eye contact, your tone of voice, and even small gestures can convey emotions that words alone cannot. Emotional intelligence helps bridge this gap, ensuring that your communication is not only effective but also meaningful.
And let's not forget how emotional intelligence helps in building cross-cultural bridges. In English, understanding cultural differences in expression and emotional responses allows professionals to communicate more successfully, fostering a collaborative and cohesive work environment.
Absolutely. By honing your soft skills and emotional intelligence, you create a more holistic approach to communication. It's not just about being understood. It's about creating meaningful connections and ensuring that your message resonates with your audience.
Ultimately, mastering emotional intelligence alongside your English communication skills can elevate your business interactions. It ensures that your communication is not only accurate, but also empathetic, respectful, and aligned with your professional goals. Let's dive into the topic of bridging language barriers through business English. In today's global business landscape, one of the biggest challenges professionals face is communicating effectively when English is not their first language. Overcoming these barriers is essential for success, and business English plays a crucial role in this process.
Absolutely, Adam. When you're working with international clients or leading multicultural teams, understanding how to navigate language differences is key. Even the most talented professionals can struggle to communicate their ideas when language becomes a barrier.
Exactly. I've seen firsthand how small misunderstandings can escalate into bigger issues when language isn't communicated clearly. Whether it's a conference call, a business proposal, or even a simple email, the way you use English can make or break the success of that interaction.
Bridging these gaps requires more than just vocabulary. It's about adapting your communication style to fit the needs of different audiences. In business English, we need to consider the context, cultural expectations, and the level of formality required for each situation.
Yes, and that's where formal and informal usage comes into play. For example, writing a business report or sending an executive summary requires a more formal tone, while communicating with a team via Slack might allow for a more relaxed approach. Non-native speakers often have to navigate these different styles while maintaining professionalism.
That's right. What works in one situation may not translate well in another. Non-native speakers may struggle to balance these differences without sounding either too rigid or too informal. That's why understanding the purpose of your communication and the audience's expectations is critical.
Another challenge is learning how to use idiomatic expressions, metaphors, and cultural references that might not be immediately understood. These are often used in English conversations, and understanding them requires familiarity with the nuances of how English operates in business contexts.
Yes, and context matters greatly. A simple phrase like taking it to the next level or thinking outside the box can be difficult to translate effectively for non-native speakers. Mastering these subtle elements helps in ensuring that your message is clear and impactful.
Moreover, effective business English involves clarity and precision. Miscommunication can lead to missed deadlines, incorrect assumptions, and even costly errors. Ensuring that your message is concise and well-structured minimizes these risks, especially in a fast-paced business environment.
Absolutely. Bridging language barriers also involves fostering an inclusive environment where everyone feels comfortable expressing themselves. Encouraging practice and providing feedback on business English skills helps build confidence, which is essential for effective communication.
One tool that has become increasingly useful is language-focused training and tailored communication workshops. These allow professionals to focus on specific areas such as public speaking, written communication, and even business etiquette in English.
Indeed, continuous learning is key. Whether it's through courses, coaching, or exposure to real-world business scenarios, refining business English skills is a journey. It's about ensuring that every interaction in English is smooth, clear, and successful.
Ultimately, bridging language barriers through business English requires ongoing effort and adaptation. By focusing on context, clarity, and cultural sensitivity, professionals can effectively overcome these challenges and thrive in an increasingly global business environment. All right, let's talk about the role that business jargon and formality play in English communication. In the workplace, especially in international business, knowing how and when to use technical terms and formal language can significantly impact how your message is perceived.
Absolutely, Adam. In many industries, particularly those with a global reach like finance, technology, or law, using appropriate business jargon is essential. It helps communicate ideas clearly and efficiently, but it can also be a double-edged sword if not used correctly.
That's true. Business jargon can streamline communication, allowing professionals to speak the language of the industry. However, when used poorly or excessively, it can create barriers, especially for non-native speakers who might struggle to grasp complex technical terms or understand their proper usage.
Exactly. For someone who is fluent in English but not immersed in the specific industry, jargon can sound confusing or overwhelming. It's important to strike a balance between using terms that are relevant and ensuring they're understandable by a wider audience.
Right. For instance, a technical term like synergy or leverage might be common in business contexts, but for someone unfamiliar with these terms, the meaning can be unclear. Non-native speakers may interpret them literally or struggle to see how they apply to real-world situations.
That's why understanding context is so crucial. In meetings or reports where formality is required, the use of business jargon should reflect the situation. However, in casual communication, whether via email or informal chats, using jargon can make communication feel stiff and unnecessary.
Yes, and formal language plays a big part here. In many business settings, there's an expectation to maintain a level of professionalism, which means avoiding overly casual language. Non-native speakers, especially those accustomed to more conversational forms of English, can sometimes struggle with striking this balance.
Absolutely. For example, writing a formal business proposal in English requires a different tone compared to a casual check-in email. Knowing when and how to adjust your language ensures that your message is both professional and appropriate.
Additionally, cultural norms also influence the use of business jargon and formality. In some cultures, direct communication is encouraged, while others prefer a more indirect or polite approach. Non-native speakers need to be aware of these differences to navigate English communication effectively.
Yes, and the challenge becomes even more pronounced in virtual settings. Without facial expressions or body language, relying too heavily on jargon can lead to misunderstandings. Clarity and simplicity become more important in email communication, especially when formal business language is required.
One way to overcome this is through practice and feedback. Professionals can work with mentors or language coaches to refine their use of business jargon and formal language. This not only improves their written and verbal communication, but also boosts their confidence in using English effectively.
Absolutely. Continuous improvement and exposure to different types of business communication help professionals become more adept at navigating the complexities of English in a professional setting, whether it's through workshops, simulations, or peer reviews. The goal is to ensure that communication is impactful and well received.
All right. Let's move on to a critical area of communication in English: public speaking and presentation skills. Whether it's leading a team meeting, presenting to executives, or giving a keynote at a conference, the ability to speak confidently and effectively in English can set you apart.
Absolutely, Adam. Public speaking is a skill that's valued in virtually every industry. And when you combine it with English proficiency, it becomes even more impactful. Many professionals face challenges in expressing their ideas clearly and maintaining control over their message, especially in front of diverse audiences.
That's right. When you're speaking in English, especially in a business setting, the pressure to be coherent, engaging, and persuasive is higher. Non-native speakers often deal with the added challenge of ensuring they don't just deliver the message, but do so in a way that resonates with their audience.
One of the key aspects of public speaking in English is the balance between fluency and structure. You need to have a solid understanding of the content while also managing how you deliver it. Whether that's through tone, pacing, or visual aids like slides, the right mix keeps your audience engaged.
Yes, and often, cultural differences can play a role in how ideas are conveyed. In some cultures, a more formal approach is expected, while in others, a more interactive and conversational style works best. Non-native speakers must adapt their approach to ensure they meet the expectations of their specific audience.
Absolutely. Another challenge is overcoming nervousness or anxiety. For many, speaking in front of a crowd in English can feel intimidating. Developing confidence is crucial, and practice plays a huge role in building that self-assurance.
One way to manage this is through preparation. Having a clear structure for your presentation, an introduction, main points, and conclusion, can help you stay organized and ensure your message flows naturally. Practicing beforehand also reduces anxiety, especially when you're using English.
Yes, and using visual aids effectively is another important skill. Slides or other visuals should complement your words, not overshadow them. In English, it's important to explain graphs, charts, or complex information in a way that everyone can understand, regardless of their language background.
And then there's the importance of interaction. Engaging the audience, whether through questions, examples, or stories, keeps people involved. Non-native speakers can use this to gauge understanding and adjust their delivery in real time, ensuring clarity and maintaining interest.
Another key element is managing language complexities. For example, idioms, slang, or technical terms may need to be explained or simplified. Non-native speakers must balance their use of language to ensure that their audience is following along.
Lastly, it's important to seek feedback, whether it's from colleagues, mentors, or through formal evaluations. Understanding how your audience perceives your English communication can help you refine your public speaking skills over time.
Absolutely. Public speaking and presentation skills in English are not just about language proficiency. They're about building confidence and mastering the art of storytelling in a professional context. With practice and continual learning, professionals can excel in this area.
Ultimately, whether you're giving a presentation to a small team or addressing a large conference, your ability to communicate effectively in English can leave a lasting impact. It's a skill that transcends boundaries and opens doors to new opportunities in the business world. Now, let's explore the topic of handling cross-cultural negotiations in English. In today's global business environment, negotiating with people from diverse backgrounds is a common yet complex task. And when English is the primary language of communication, things can get even trickier.
Absolutely, Adam. Negotiating in English across cultures requires more than just language proficiency. It involves understanding cultural norms, expectations, and communication styles that may differ significantly from your own. Non-native speakers often face the challenge of balancing professionalism with cultural sensitivity.
That's right. In negotiations, cultural differences can affect everything from how deals are structured to the way conflicts are managed, and even how agreements are finalized. Understanding these nuances is essential for achieving mutually beneficial outcomes.
One of the biggest challenges is avoiding misunderstandings that arise from language differences. For example, indirect communication styles are common in some cultures, whereas others prefer more direct and explicit negotiation tactics. In English, managing these differences effectively requires thoughtfulness.
Yes, and non-native speakers often struggle to navigate these subtleties. They might not fully grasp how their counterparts interpret specific phrases or terms. This is where developing strong listening skills in English becomes crucial, understanding not only the words but also the underlying emotions and cultural context.
Absolutely. Another important aspect is managing expectations. In many cultures, face-to-face negotiations are preferred, but in cross-border negotiations, meetings may be conducted virtually. Non-native speakers need to be adept at handling digital communication while still maintaining rapport and trust.
And then there's the role of formality. In some cultures, formality is highly respected, while in others, a more relaxed and personable approach is expected. Finding the right balance in English communication requires understanding the nuances of what's appropriate in each context.
Yes, and negotiation documents, whether contracts or proposals, must be carefully crafted to reflect the agreed terms in a way that aligns with both parties' expectations. Non-native speakers often struggle with ensuring that legal and business language is properly understood, and any discrepancies can lead to complications.
Building rapport is also vital. In cross-cultural negotiations, where parties might come from different professional backgrounds, developing trust can be a slow process. English communication in these situations should focus on fostering mutual understanding and demonstrating respect for cultural differences.
One way to handle these challenges is through preparation. Non-native speakers can improve their ability to negotiate by simulating scenarios or participating in language-focused workshops that simulate cross-cultural interactions. This helps them feel more confident and well-prepared when engaging in real negotiations.
Absolutely. And let's not forget the role of body language and nonverbal cues. While in-person negotiations are becoming less common, understanding how gestures and expressions are perceived can significantly influence outcomes in cross-cultural discussions, even through video conferences.
At the end of the day, Handling cross-cultural negotiations in English requires a combination of effective communication skills, cultural intelligence, and adaptability. With the right approach, non-native speakers can successfully navigate these complexities and foster meaningful business relationships.
That's a great point, Sophia. By refining their approach to handling cross-cultural negotiations, professionals can not only achieve successful outcomes, but also leave a positive impression that may pave the way for future collaborations. Let's shift gears and talk about how English plays a crucial role in startups and small businesses. In today's competitive market, being able to effectively communicate in English can make a significant difference, especially for businesses looking to grow internationally.
Absolutely, Adam. For startups and small businesses, English is often the bridge to reaching a global audience, securing partnerships, and pitching to investors. But while the language barrier may not seem as prominent in day-to-day operations, it becomes a critical factor when scaling and seeking growth opportunities.
That's true. In many cases, founders and early-stage teams may come from non-English speaking backgrounds, and communicating their vision or product to English-speaking clients, partners, or potential investors can be challenging. Clarity, confidence, and the right business vocabulary are essential.
One of the biggest challenges for startups is crafting a compelling business story in English. Whether it's creating a pitch deck, writing an investor proposal, or communicating value propositions on a website, every piece of content needs to resonate with an English-speaking audience.
Exactly. In this context, conciseness is key. Small businesses often have limited resources, so the ability to convey ideas quickly and effectively in English is crucial. Miscommunications can lead to missed opportunities, which is why having a solid grasp of business English is necessary.
Another aspect is the need for flexibility. Startups typically operate in fast-paced environments, and English communication should reflect adaptability. Whether it's negotiating terms with vendors, collaborating with remote teams, or handling customer feedback, startups rely heavily on clear, efficient communication.
And then there's the challenge of social media and digital marketing in English. Startups are often active on platforms like LinkedIn, Twitter, and Instagram to reach new audiences. The tone, messaging, and engagement must be tailored to engage English-speaking customers effectively.
Absolutely. For small businesses, maintaining a consistent brand voice across these platforms requires more than just translating content. It involves understanding cultural nuances and using language that speaks directly to the target audience's expectations.
Let's not forget the importance of customer service in English. For startups, providing seamless support and building trust in English is critical to building lasting relationships. Communicating in a way that's empathetic and professional ensures customer satisfaction and loyalty.
Right. And as startups scale, the need for business English expertise grows. From negotiating partnerships to presenting quarterly reports, English proficiency ensures that communication remains professional, impactful, and aligned with business goals.
Startups also benefit from learning how to effectively pitch their products or services to English-speaking investors. Crafting persuasive pitches in English that capture the essence of their business in limited time is a valuable skill that can accelerate funding and growth. Let's dive into a more specialized area of business communication: legal and technical English. These fields often require a high level of precision and formality in English, which can be particularly challenging for non-native speakers.
Absolutely, Adam. In legal and technical contexts, even the smallest error in wording can lead to serious consequences, such as misinterpretations of contracts or misunderstandings of complex technical information. Mastering this type of English is essential for accuracy and clarity.
That's right. Legal English, in particular, involves a lot of formal language, precise definitions, and the use of industry-specific terms. Non-native speakers must not only understand the vocabulary, but also navigate the structure of legal documents, such as contracts, agreements, and compliance reports.
Technical English, on the other hand, focuses more on conveying complex information in fields like engineering, IT, or science. This includes explaining detailed processes, procedures, and systems to an English-speaking audience in a clear and accessible way.
One of the biggest challenges in both legal and technical English is maintaining professionalism while simplifying language for comprehension. For instance, explaining a technical system or legal procedure in a way that's easy to understand without losing the essence of the content is a delicate balance.
Absolutely. Legal terms like waiver, indemnity, or liability might be familiar to legal professionals, but they can be confusing for non-native speakers. Similarly, technical terms such as API, bug, or protocol require precise definitions to ensure clarity.
Another difficulty is the interpretation of formal tone. In legal English, phrases like shall and hereby are standard, but they may feel archaic or overly complex for non-native speakers. Striking the right balance between formality and simplicity is key.
Yes, and in technical English, diagrams, charts, and visual elements are often used to supplement written descriptions. Non-native speakers need to ensure that any accompanying language aligns with these visuals to avoid confusion.
Furthermore, in both areas, collaboration with native English speakers or language professionals is invaluable. Having a second set of eyes to review and refine complex documents ensures that every term is accurately used and communicated.
Language coaching can also play a significant role here. For example, lawyers or technical professionals may benefit from learning how to structure arguments, explanations, and presentations more effectively in English, ensuring they meet the expectations of an English-speaking audience.
Additionally, using glossaries, templates, and style guides tailored for legal or technical communication can significantly aid non-native speakers. These resources help maintain consistency and adherence to industry standards, making communication more professional and reliable.
Legal and technical English may require a more formal and structured approach, but with practice and support, non-native speakers can master the nuances. It's about refining the use of industry-specific terms while ensuring their message is both accurate and accessible.
Let's talk about how business English can play a pivotal role in building leadership and influence within the workplace. Strong communication skills in English are essential for leaders looking to guide teams, inspire confidence, and drive results.
Absolutely, Adam. In today's business world, leaders are often called upon to communicate clearly and persuasively. Whether it's addressing a team, negotiating with clients, or presenting to stakeholders, having strong business English ensures that your message is impactful and understood.
That's true. Business leaders must be able to convey complex ideas, make strategic decisions, and influence others, all while maintaining a level of professionalism in English. Non-native speakers may face the added challenge of mastering leadership language that demands both clarity and confidence.
Leadership in English often involves more than just delivering a message. It's about understanding how to motivate and engage a diverse audience. Non-native speakers must be able to navigate cultural nuances while projecting authority and empathy in their communication.
One of the key elements is adapting language to different audiences. For instance, communicating with a global executive team requires a different approach compared to addressing a small localized team. Leaders need to be able to shift their tone and language accordingly.
Exactly. Leaders must also be mindful of emotional intelligence in their communication. This means using inclusive language that fosters collaboration, encourages diverse perspectives, and ensures that every team member feels valued, regardless of their language proficiency.
Moreover, influence in English often comes from storytelling and the ability to connect emotionally with the audience. Leaders who can tell compelling stories in English can create a deeper impact and inspire action from their teams and partners.
Yes, and business English also plays a critical role in conflict resolution. Leaders need to manage difficult conversations, mediate misunderstandings, and provide constructive feedback, all in a professional yet assertive manner that respects linguistic and cultural differences.
Another important aspect is building credibility. A leader's use of business English should reflect their knowledge, expertise, and experience. For non-native speakers, this often requires practicing specific vocabulary and phrases that convey authority in areas like strategy, finance, or innovation.
Additionally, leaders must balance formality with accessibility. While it's important to maintain professionalism, using overly complex language can alienate team members or stakeholders who may not be as fluent. Tailoring communication ensures clarity while maintaining a professional tone.
Effective business English also empowers leaders to provide clear instructions and expectations. Whether it's through reports, presentations, or written communication, the ability to articulate goals, deadlines, and performance expectations ensures teams stay aligned.
Lastly, continuous improvement is key. Leaders who invest in developing their business English skills often receive better results in terms of team performance, collaboration, and decision-making. Practice, feedback, and exposure to real-world scenarios help refine their communication over time.
Ultimately, leadership through business English is about more than just speaking. It's about inspiring, influencing, and driving meaningful change. By mastering this skill, leaders can truly elevate their impact within their organizations and beyond. Let's discuss how English plays a key role in the world of remote work. With teams working from different time zones, cultures, and backgrounds, effective communication in English has become more critical than ever. Whether it's team collaboration, project management, or virtual meetings, mastering English ensures seamless remote operations.
Absolutely, Adam. Remote work introduces unique challenges, especially when communication needs to happen across distances. English serves as the common language in many remote teams, but adapting to virtual interactions requires more than just language skills. It requires clear, concise, and inclusive communication.
Indeed. One of the biggest trends in remote work is the shift towards written communication. With fewer face-to-face interactions, emails, chats, and shared documents have become the primary tools for collaboration. Non-native speakers need to ensure that their written English is professional, error-free, and easily understood.
Yes, and this also extends to virtual meetings. In remote work, where video calls and online discussions are the norm, non-native speakers must manage not only verbal communication, but also non-verbal cues. Pacing, tone, and clear articulation become even more important when communication is primarily done through screens.
Another trend is the use of asynchronous communication. Teams often work at different times, so sharing information and updates through tools like Slack, Trello, or emails in English must be well structured to avoid misunderstandings. Precision in English ensures that tasks are completed accurately.
Exactly. In remote work, cultural differences can also manifest more frequently through language. For example, different interpretations of feedback or responses may lead to confusion. Non-native speakers need to pay attention to cultural nuances while maintaining professionalism in their English communication.
Collaboration in remote settings often relies on a combination of written and verbal communication. Non-native speakers must strike a balance between engaging in discussions and documenting decisions. Whether writing detailed reports or summarizing discussions, business English helps ensure clarity.
Additionally, remote workplaces greater importance on adaptability. English must be flexible enough to handle varying contexts, whether formal reports, casual chats, or nuanced project discussions. Non-native speakers can benefit from tailoring their communication style based on the situation.
Video calls and online presentations are also a big part of remote work. Non-native speakers must ensure their public speaking and presentation skills translate well in English when engaging with virtual audiences. The ability to express ideas clearly and engage through digital platforms is crucial.
Yes, and with the rise of collaborative tools like Zoom, Microsoft Teams, or Google Workspace, leaders and team members must be comfortable using business-specific language in these environments. Knowing how to manage discussions, share documents, and ensure effective communication remotely is essential.
Lastly, regular feedback is crucial in remote work environments. English proficiency helps provide and receive constructive feedback clearly, ensuring that adjustments can be made to improve team performance and project outcomes.
Overall, English has become a vital skill in navigating the remote work landscape. By honing these communication skills, non-native speakers can foster stronger collaboration, maintain productivity, and lead successful virtual teams.
Let's dive into an often overlooked but critical aspect of business communication: the impact of English accents. In global business environments, accents play a significant role in how messages are perceived, understood, and responded to.
That's a great point, Adam. Accents can reflect cultural diversity and individuality, but they can also introduce challenges in communication. For non-native speakers, accents may sometimes lead to misunderstandings or biases, even when the content of their message is accurate and well-constructed.
Exactly. For instance, a heavy accent might make it harder for some listeners to follow a conversation, especially during virtual meetings or phone calls where visual cues are absent. This isn't just an issue for non-native speakers. Native speakers with strong regional accents may face similar challenges.
True. However, accents also carry identity and pride. They showcase where someone is from and contribute to the richness of global business communication. The key is finding a balance between embracing your accent and ensuring clarity in communication.
One interesting aspect is the role of accent bias. Research shows that people often subconsciously judge others based on their accents. In business, this can affect perceptions of professionalism, intelligence, or competence, even if these judgments are unfair or inaccurate.
Yes, and for non-native speakers, this can be particularly frustrating. They might feel pressure to neutralize their accents to fit in or to avoid being misunderstood. While working on pronunciation and clarity is helpful, completely losing an accent isn't necessary, and it shouldn't be the goal.
Instead, the focus should be on making communication clear and effective. Tools like pronunciation apps, speaking clubs, and coaching sessions can help improve specific areas of speech, like enunciation or intonation, without erasing a person's natural accent.
Absolutely. And on the flip side, listeners also have a responsibility to develop what we call accent tolerance. In a global workplace, being able to understand and respect different accents is a crucial skill. It's about listening actively and seeking clarification when needed, instead of making assumptions.
Another interesting dynamic is how accents influence collaboration. For example, in multilingual teams, people might subconsciously defer to speakers with more standard or neutral English accents, even if the ideas of others are just as valuable. This can unintentionally silence diverse voices.
That's an important point. To counter this, companies can promote inclusivity by encouraging open dialogue and creating safe spaces for team members to express themselves, regardless of their accent. This fosters a culture where ideas matter more than how they're delivered.
Also, accents can become an advantage in certain situations. For instance, a British accent might be perceived as sophisticated, while an American accent could be seen as approachable. Non-native speakers can learn to leverage the positive perceptions associated with their accents in different contexts.
Right. And with the rise of artificial intelligence and speech-to-text technologies, accents are increasingly being normalized in business communication. These tools are improving their ability to recognize and adapt to diverse speech patterns, which is a promising step toward inclusivity.
Ultimately, accents are a natural part of who we are, and they enrich the global business landscape. By focusing on mutual understanding and breaking down biases, we can embrace accents as a strength rather than a barrier in business communication.
Well said, Adam. At the end of the day, effective business communication isn't about having a perfect accent. It's about delivering your message clearly and confidently, and valuing the diversity that different accents bring to the conversation.
As we wrap up today's episode, Sophia, it's clear that the impact of English on business communication is profound. It's not just a language, it's a powerful tool for building relationships, driving innovation, and leading in a globalized world.
Absolutely, Adam. English serves as the bridge connecting diverse cultures, industries, and perspectives. It enables businesses to thrive in international markets, empowers individuals to share their ideas confidently, and fosters collaboration across borders.
From mastering the nuances of legal and technical English to embracing the diversity of accents and navigating remote work trends, we've explored how English is shaping the way professionals interact and succeed. The key takeaway? Communication in English isn't just about fluency. It's about adaptability, emotional intelligence, and intentionality.
Exactly. And what I find most inspiring is how non-native speakers are embracing these challenges and turning them into opportunities. By investing in their English skills, they're not just improving communication, they're opening doors to leadership, influence, and meaningful change in their fields.
We hope this conversation has given our listeners valuable insights and strategies to enhance their own business communication in English. Whether you're leading a startup, collaborating in a multinational team, or simply refining your skills, remember that every step you take brings you closer to mastering this global language.
And as we always say, it's not about having perfect English. It's about having purposeful communication. Embrace your unique voice, focus on clarity and connection, and watch your influence grow.
Thank you for joining us on this journey. If you found today's discussion helpful, don't forget to subscribe, leave us a review, and share this episode with your network.
And we'd love to hear from you. What's your biggest challenge or success story with using English in the business world? Reach out to us through our social channels or drop a comment below. Let's keep the conversation going.
Until next time, remember, English is more than a language. It's the foundation for building bridges in business and beyond.
Stay inspired, keep learning, and we'll see you in the next episode. Thank you.